The wonderful thing about the truth is that it's instant, it's swift, it arrives right on time because you don't have to make up anything. It resonates because something is true. It rings true, like the peal of a bell. Lies take time. You have to coordinate things and cover your tracks, smoke and mirrors. You have to get everybody on the same page. 51 intelligence experts say Hunter Biden's laptop is the hallmarks of Russian disinformation. It's messy. And the lies eventually fall to pieces over time, but it takes you a while to put them together and a while to knock them down. Be very wary of things that take too much time to explain, like the California elections, where they're already programming us to assume that taking weeks to count an election is normal. But it's normal in California. Look at this headline from the New York Times today. The vote count for California governor and LA mayor could be painfully slow. Don't expect instant gratification. Oh, this from the state that is the epicenter of AI, which is delivering instant results, solving the most complicated equations and math problems. The state that helps launch the space race and develop some of the fastest and most mind-bending technology for medical purposes or for the advancement of the human race. You're telling me you can't count the bubbles on a ballot for weeks? That's what they're saying. They're saying it's going to take weeks. That means they're going to want to rig the election. What it means is you need time to run your algorithms to figure out how many more mail-in ballots you need to go get homeless people to fill out those mail-in ballots and send them in. It's a messy process. It's a lie. There are states with tens of millions of people, Florida, Texas. The elections are done instantly, the night of. They're lying to us, and I caught them lying. You guys, we were outside of a very important place here in California. Look at this. You'll see it's just home to a porta-john and a giant empty parking lot. But inside of this empty parking lot is something really important in the state of California. As you can see here, we have registered voters. 26 registered voters for this exact location, 100 Sunset Avenue in Venice. 26 registered voters. Right here, according to the registrar and the Secretary of State. At a toilet. They're registered to a toilet. And by the way, I was fact-checked on this. The Secretary of State came out and said, yeah, that's exactly right. We did register them to a toilet because that's legal in California. You can get registered to a stop sign. You get registered to a Burger King parking lot. Because fraud is the point. They're already panicking in LA. Ballots burned. Vote center vandalized. LA County before the election day. They're burning ballots in California because they're terrified the number of voters who are showing up for Spencer Pratt and Steve Hilton. It's not who counts the votes. It's not who votes that counts. It's who counts the votes, says Stalin. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, even Nate Silver, big time lefty political pollster, who's always wrong about everything. Yeah, broke clock is right twice a day. And he's right on this one. The fact that California elections can't be resolved for weeks is kind of insane and not common in other electoral systems around the world, including by far less developed countries. Like, honestly, it's going to take us several weeks to tell you who won the election is failed state shit and should be much more stigmatized. The fact that it's tolerated is bad too. A textbook example of learned helplessness. No, we shouldn't. We should sue the state of California for this. They're doing it to rig the election. They know what they're doing. They need the time to figure out the kind of gaps that they need in order to manufacture the ballots, to pull the ballots out from under the table and shove them into the machine. I'm not trying to be a black pillar. Look at this. Los Angeles mayors over the last 100 years. Well, half of them were Republican. Republicans can and did win in Los Angeles up until, let's see here, Richard Riordan was the last one in the year 2001. But it can happen, and it did happen. Spencer Pratt has a 75% chance to advance because of this, because of the absolute state of the third world in Los Angeles. I mean, this is what the streets of Los Angeles look like on a day-to-day basis. This is, of course, why Spencer Pratt is winning, but also there's a lot of incredible data right now to show that he's on the way to potentially winning day of, like tonight, getting enough votes in order for people to at least say that he's made it to the runoff. People in Los Angeles have had enough. Doug Ellen is the creator of the Entourage series. He's endorsed Spencer Pratt. Joe Rogan's endorsed Spencer Pratt. Bill Maher has endorsed Spencer Pratt. Spencer Pratt, according to the most accurate pollster in the country, McLaughlin Group, this is President Trump's personal pollster, is doing 30% Bass, 29% Rahman, 23%. All Pratt needs is to peel off some of these Nikki Rahman voters. He could potentially win walking away if he gets 50%. Sergey Brin, he's one of the Google billionaires. He donated to Spencer Pratt. Look at that. You have the receipts right there. Sergey Brin's rightward lurch continues. He donated to Spencer Pratt this week. He's worth $283 billion. Again, Spencer Pratt is winning outright in the polls that we have seen. We'll see what happens. It's why they're going to try and do some funny business today, I have no doubt. Let's go ahead and look at what's happening here. You can see this is the live data tracking right now. There's been 2.2 million ballots that were sent out, 300 returned. So ballots mailed, and they do automatic mailings of ballots in LA. You don't have to request one, you'll just get one. Anyway, you can see they mailed out 1.2 million ballots for Democrats and only got back 187,000. Meanwhile, you're getting back a really high percentage of Republican, a higher percentage of Republican ballots. That's 15% higher Republican turnout on the ballots. And then no party or other, these are going to be Spencer Pratt voters, are also returning really strongly. Ladies and gentlemen, good signs. Spencer Pratt, Karen Bass, Nikki Rahman. Republicans, early in-person voting, 42%, Democrats 38%, and other no party is 20%. That could all that 20% could go into the Republican category. I mean, if that's the case, then you're talking about an absolute numbers win for Spencer Pratt today. Republicans are winning the early vote in California by raw numbers, which is crazy considering that they have a 2-to-1 margin to Democrats. There are 10 million registered Democrats. There are 5 million registered Republicans. The vote percentages have craters as well. Final mail-in ballot votes, California. This year, present 2026 versus 2022. Democrats have lost 6% of their returned mail-in ballots. Republicans have gained 5%. And the no party has gained 1%, which is very bad for Democrats. It's looking like there's going to be potentially a 20-point collapse in the turnout in LA, 24 hours, 24-point swing rightward. So a double-digit collapse in the turnout of LA. It was D plus 64. Now it's D plus 36. And Republican voter registration has, of course, skyrocketed in comparison to Democrats. There's a lot of good things going on in LA right now. Beverly Hills voters ages 18 through 29 are returning at Republican plus 14. Spencer Pratt's final message to Californians: LA votes for Pratt or it votes for death. Ladies and gentlemen, standing there with the puppies is just such a strong scene. What will happen tonight? We asked the voter election guru, Carl DeMaio in California, how can Spencer Pratt win in this system? Spencer Pratt responding to the fact that Kathy Griffin and Karen Bass are doing live streams on Instagram. By the way, that's crazy. You have 100 people watching. How pathetic. How sad and pathetic. You have 100 people watching. She's scared and desperate. How does Spencer Pratt win? Here's Carl DeMaio saying how you can outvote the fraud. Get out and vote, California. You can do this. The truth rings true and swiftly, overwhelm the polls, and you can outvote the fraud. Here we go.
You got to make it too big to rig. You got to get turnout. Remember, midterm elections have lower turnout than presidential elections. In California, our presidential election has 80% turnout. Turnout is so high in presidential elections in California, Democrats get 110% turnout in their cemeteries. I mean, it's extraordinary. But 80% turnout for presidential. For midterms, it drops to 35% turnout. And it typically, you see both parties drop to those numbers from 80% down to 35%. So my proposition to Republicans is, what if you actually turned out? What if you turned out at 60% and Democrats turned out at 35%? You know what would happen? We'd elect a Republican governor. We would break the supermajority in Sacramento. We would actually flip House seats and add to the Republican House majority, not lose seats under Prop 50, the rigged maps that they've imposed. Personal contact is what it's all about. So it's really, on one level, quite simple, on another level, very hard. In order for us to take back California, we need people to take and exercise their power. They need to realize that they're powerful as an activist, and they need to exercise that power.